Oh, what's going on, people? So, got to give this a second, as I always do, for things to get all settled out there in the internet world. Between the whole, what's it, StreamYard, getting over to YouTube, make sure it actually happens, see what the quality is like, because sometimes it's terrible, and then it takes a minute for it to kind of get itself right. So, looks like things are happening. Just got the little email that it's happening. So, there's that. And it actually looks like it's fairly decent. So that's cool. So, as I usually do, I'm just going to get right into this. If people show up to watch it, they'll show up to watch it whenever they show up to watch it. So, here's the thing, right? For the last 5 weeks through the month of May, I did the same thing I did last May, which was just kind of pick different little themes and whatnot for the week because every so often I do stuff like that because it makes me dig a little deeper into the collection instead of just picking out the stuff that I just happen to see. It makes me think and whatnot, and that's when I started digging into some things that I don't normally pull out. So we're just going to go ahead and get this thing going. The first week was things that I only have one pair of, which is uncommon in a way because for the most part, almost like, like how Noah's Ark thing where they took like two of every animal or something. I kind of buy into that, and I generally get at least two of everything that I like. But not with stuff like this. So first up, got this here. This is the night jogger from Adidas. Some of you may remember this. It was, do they still make these? They also had a day jogger, but either way, this was one of the first colorways, possibly the first colorway. And I was like, yeah, that's cool, right? It's carbon, right? That's the name of it. And I thought these are fine. I picked them up, liked what I saw out of them and all that good stuff. And they were good as far as like their performance. They've, well, I don't say performance, but they felt good walking around in them, right? But then Adidas just kind of made a whole bunch of colors that I didn't like, so I didn't buy any more of them, and that was kind of the end of that. But they are nice, so if you do happen to find a pair that you like, go ahead and pick them up. They're probably going to be dirt cheap because nobody was really buying them like that. Same thing sort of goes with these. I saw this Wizard Magic, hello to you. I saw this. This is the Ultra Boost Mid, right? Not the most popular model that Ultra Boost made or that Adidas made of their Ultra Boost, right? I remember there being this color and there was one other one that I didn't get for some odd reason. And then I think last year they made another colorway, so they've had like three total. Maybe there's a fourth one that I can't think of. I feel like there is. But these are nice. Like it's a weird material, right? Because it's a lot thicker than your normal Ultra Boost felt, especially back in 2019. They've got these like yarn type laces going on, so that's kind of odd, but they feel really cool. And overall, they're just like super comfortable. The one drawback is that they're not as breathable as the other ones. Like I said, they are thicker, but I really like them. I just kind of wish they would have made more. They remind me in some ways of the Uncaged, and also kind of got the similar treatment. But there's that. Also, all on the subject before we get into other things. Normally, when I'm out with the family, I don't think about all the whole shoe thing, but we were not hiking, but walking through some trails that weekend. So these I only have one pair of. It's the Peregrine 11 from Saucony trail shoe, right? So I picked up two pairs for this pair being for my dad, this pair being for my mom. So we did that whole thing, whatever weekend this was. So also another nice shoe that I only have one pair of, but they're up to the 12 now, so there's no point to getting another 11. Anyways, let's get into what's in these boxes. This right here, these are really, really nice. I talk up the Light Strike a lot, but at the same time, I don't have a lot of Light Strikes, so it almost comes off as like, I don't know, like I'm just saying it. But these are the SL20s, right? One of the earlier shoes that they put out as far as running shoes with Light Strike in them. And they're crazy light, super nice as far as like the upper and all that stuff. And if you're going to go running in these, the cool thing is that they're lighter because when compared to Boost, they don't need as much of it. You know what I'm saying? To give you that comfort, whereas the Boost is kind of thicker and whatnot. And these, because of the way the material is, they don't bottom out on you. That's what Adidas said anyway. I haven't really had that issue with my Ultra Boost regardless, but it's another selling point to these. And since it's more of an Adidas technology, this tends to be cheaper. So it's like better on all counts, right? It's just that it didn't take off because the Boost name is the Boost name. These are just Light Strike, and unless you're really paying attention to stuff like that, you're probably not going to know it's a thing. But definitely something worth checking into. Unfortunately, the SL 20.2 and the 20.3 don't look as good as the original, so that's probably not going to help with the sales, which is understandable, right? So, up next, a lot of Adidas shoes. Yeah, apparently this whole week was all Adidas shoes, minus that hiking thing. So the futurecraft 4D, right? One of the original 4D shoes that came out. I picked these up and was super into them, right? As far as like the 4D shoes that I had at the time, this was like the best experience. I'll get to them in a few stacks here, but I believe the 4D forward is over here to my left. But this was for a while like the best 4D shoe in my opinion. Super breathable, super expensive. And the latter part is why I didn't really get any of these. But they brought them back last year or something like that. So that's when I picked them up because they were not terribly priced, or maybe I just make more money now. Either way, I was fine with spending the money that they asked me to spend. So there you go, the 4D Futurecraft. I think they have a couple other colors nowadays. I honestly don't know for sure though. And this right here, picked these up from Concepts way after they were a thing, right? So this is the EQT 9118. So as you see on there, it's an EQT model from 1991 that was redone back in 2018. That's how the naming is set up. So they also had the 9317s, which follow the same sort of thing. I don't have a pair of those. I did briefly, and then I returned them because I was like, this is a lot of money for these. I'm not going to keep these, right? Should have kept them, in hindsight. But either way, these right here, it's one of those original colors that they had on that, like the green, black, white thing. Really nice. And this might be the most overall comfortable Boost shoe that I have. I'm pretty sure that it is. Because the upper kind of reminds me of like the Yeezy 350 Compact, which is like it's got a nice feel to it. Then the bottom area, it's just got the right amount of boost. It's not like too cushiony, it's not too stiff. Yeah, these are just really nice, man. But it's one of those things that I was just late to the party on, and even looking at them later, it seemed like they didn't have many colors. So even if I had bought into them when they were actively being made, I probably still would only have just the one pair because the other colors just weren't all that great. And then you look at something like this, the Adidas Ultra Boost Uncaged DNA 5.0, something like this normally would be something I'd be all over because I was super into the original Ultra Boost Uncaged, but this particular one, Adidas made this color and then they stopped. So I don't know what the deal was with that. Probably again because I was the only person that bought them or something. But I I don't like them more than the original Ultra Boost Uncaged, but they are pretty good, right? And maybe that's partly like a bias thing or something when I talk these up. But for whatever reason, I did at least walk away with the one pair I liked, or the one pair I could get, because it was the one pair that existed. But for whatever reason, Adidas just chose to move on shortly after that. Let's move those over there. Keep things going here. So week number 2 was shoes that have like a slightly different material to them, than like what you would normally be used to. Kick things off with a pair of Vans that I had completely forgot I had until I was looking through other boxes or looking through old videos or something. So these right here, right? The thing that makes them different is because like your standard Vans, there's a lot of canvas. This time around, they went with corduroy, right? And then also on the inside, I don't know if you can tell, but you got this wool thing going on. So there's that. And then you have the Ultra Cush, which makes them like super comfortable, right? So all around, outside to inside, like this is just like a completely different experience. So walking around in these, I wore them on one of the days where it was like a little cooler out for whatever reason. Probably like a storm coming through because Virginia does that a lot. But yeah, these are very comfortable, very nice all around. I like the look of them. They kind of remind me of those Puma suedes that I bought last year. But yeah, corduroy. I'm a huge fan of the corduroy, and these were a must-have. Well, I don't say a must-have, but I wanted them, and because they're Vans, they were super cheap, so that was cool. And it's something different for the lineup. Moving along, got a 350 box here. I have a lot of 350 boxes. Actually, There's almost one in every stack over here. Almost, not every. So this is definitely like a very different sort of look here. Remember these? They got all the, you can see like the light shining through. Well, if I didn't have that piece of paper in here, you could. Let's take that out for a second. But yeah, it is cool. It's got like, it has that cool effect, you know, but like you can't see it when you're wearing it because your foot's in there, right? It's just got a nice little jack-o'-lantern sort of thing happening. But that's really the only nice thing about these. I mean, the midsole comfort is cool, but the shoe itself, upper-wise, I cannot stand this material that they made. It doesn't fit right. Well, it's the sizing is fine, but it just doesn't feel like the 350 experience. These laces are like wrapped in fishing wire or fishing net or something, and that is just noisy. You got that whole thing going on. Yeah, this and the mono, this and the mono mist or the mono ice, both not great, you know. But it is what it is. You know, I like my 350s, so I'm willing to give them all, for the most part, a try. And they just don't always work out. This right here, this is an old receipt because a lot of my shoes have receipts in the boxes. In case anybody's curious, I could show it to you. Bought them from a, what do you call it? An outlet mall in El Paso, Texas. This right here was my first ever Air Max 1. And very different from all the other Air Maxes. As you can tell, it's not at all the normal material, not even the normal outsole, right? It's the Ultra style, but they're still pretty nice, you know, so I do like that. But it fit the trend, you know, and of that style, that's the only one I have, like the Moire, right? That's what it says on the side anyway. Let's see if that'll focus. There it is. So let's keep going. So that way I'm not here too long. There's an NXT show tonight, right? So I'm kind of trying to watch that later. These, even the paper on this is like weird. I don't know what it is. It's like thick and just odd. I don't know what they were doing. But what you got out of this though, this is an Ultra Boost Uncaged. It's from the Ultra Boost, or from Nature Lab, some collaboration they did. Got a nice gum bottom going on. But the thing is, and you can possibly tell a little bit, watch the video if you can't, but the way they did this upper is some sort of like fancy cotton or something that they did. This is like the softest shoes that I think I have. It just feels amazing, you know? So I do really like that. And they have a cool little insole on the inside of there, right? Which you can't see because the camera is not letting you see it. But, you know, it's in there. It kind of matches up with what you have on the outside with this heel cup area. It's also the one Ultra Boost I have that has an actual tongue on it, which is very uncommon. But either way, the Ultra Boost Lab, or excuse me, the Ultra Boost Uncaged Nature Lab, very nice. I don't like this paper that they went with because it's extra noisy. But the comfort is crazy on those. I mean, the Ultra Boost Uncaged was already like the most comfortable to me of the Ultra Boost models, but that they stepped it up just a little bit. And this was a little different in itself, you know. You can kind of tell if you catch it from like the right angles that the color kind of shifts a little bit, right? The way they did this particular pair of the Element 55s, I don't know what is going on up here, but I really do like that little color changing shimmer sort of thing that they have. I didn't really care so much for the Element 55 overall because like the upper was just, you know, the material is kind of you know. But you can't argue with like the midsole comfort. This React stuff is solid, which is probably why they're still throwing it on a lot of things. Running shoes, casual shoes. I mean, one of the most recommended shoes that I recommend anyway is the React Vision, and that's obviously React. Got it right there in the name, you know. Move that over there. And we're gonna keep things moving. So up next we have, so what was this? This would have been like the animal type week or whatever, you know, because these things that have like an animal sort of flair to them, animalness and whatnot. This is some kind of Charlotte Hornet colored Presto QS Quick Strike. So as you see, it's got like the safari thing going on, you know, because animals, right? And then the Hornets thing because insects are part of the animal kingdom. But overall, this if it wasn't for me being so into like the black and yellow, black and gold, whatever, this pair might be my favorite of this little set. And I do kind of wish I had bought the white cement colored pair as well, just so I could have completed it and had all four. But at the time, I figured I'll just get the three that I like, and I'm cool with them. You know, I have this pair, the yellow pair, and the red pair. But it would be kind of nice to have all four. You know, but I was a different man back in 2017, I think, or was it 16? I don't know. Either way, it was a long time ago. I didn't do things the same way. Nowadays, I just like, I often stock up. This is a Gel Lite 3. You can see it down there. It's got like this alligator, crocodile, sort of whatever going on for some odd reason. But it's not one of the OG styles, so it doesn't have like the same cut as you might expect. But a lot of the comfort is still there. It just gets a little weird when it comes down to like the material because it's far from it being as breathable as your standard. I mean, you see it's got like this sort of fake leather type of nonsense going on. So yeah, not the greatest in that regard, but still pretty nice. You know, I do like this sort of green with a little bit of the gold that they have on there, right? You can kind of catch that from the right angles and stuff. And the gum bottoms is always a nice touch. Well, I won't say always, but often a nice touch. Let's keep on going here. All right. What is... Oh, okay. I was looking at the box like, what is in here? So these Tony the Tiger React Prestos, I remember going to the store and seeing these, and I bought them like right on the spot because I think they had just come out. This was at Foot Action in, what's that mall called? Lynn Haven Mall, Virginia Beach, which is no more because they shut down all the Foot Lockers, which sucks because Foot Locker was probably the store of that umbrella that I shopped at the most. But either way, here we go. Here's this, right? Trying to turn this thing a little bit, get the camera centered. But anyway, so these super comfortable, right? The React Presto. I wish they had made a React Karachi because I feel like that would have been nice too. And I thought that's what they were going to do since they put it on so many other things. But then they just kind of drew the line there. And I was like, all right, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. You know, I don't control Nike. You know, they're just going to make their decisions. So the Tiggers, that too. Tigger, that was one of the Winnie the Pooh guys, right? Or maybe he was like Bambi or something. I never saw Bambi, but I feel like I remember Tigger, so I'm going to say he was a Winnie the Pooh guy. Anyway, so these Dragon Game of Thrones shoes, right? I don't watch the show, but I do think that these look pretty awesome, so that's why I have them. So there you go. It says like Game of Thrones on the... No, it doesn't. It says Game of Thrones on the inside, but the back says Fire and Blood. Either way, they're made for dragons, or made by dragons, made out of dragons, something like that. So there's the animal tie-in, right? But yeah, I also have there's some like white and blue ones. They're like these like icy colored ones from the Game of Thrones set. I still have yet to wear those. I was gonna wear them like a while ago when it was like winter and it was cold or something. And then it didn't happen, right? Very anticlimactic end to that story. These elephant print Jordans right here, this I probably wore for like the third time out of however long I've owned these, which is whenever they came out. Because it's just not a thing that I really turn to very often. My dad, though, I bought him a pair of these, you know, because I won 2 raffles or whatever. So I just gave him one. And he wears these things all the time. Because I saw them last time I was down at their house, and they've been through a lot, like a whole heck of a lot. But he likes them, and that's good because I bought them. Oh, I just thought someone was about to fall out of here. They have this little hang tag in there. Yeah. So I bought them for him, you know, and he's wearing them a lot, which is good, you know, because otherwise it'd be kind of like a waste of money, which is what I think every time I look at the amount of shoes I have. It's like, what a waste of freaking money. But, you know, on the upside, like, I don't have many, like, responsibilities and stuff because I don't have kids and whatnot. So in that way, it's like, it's not taken away from anything. But, you know, I could probably still be doing something else with some of this that I throw around. Moving on. What's this? This video will look better if you focus lock on. Dude, like this camera is not doing all that stuff. Trust me, I'm aware of like all that. I know it doesn't look like anything great, but I just accept that when it comes to when it comes to doing these lives. So it's just one of the things that kind of sucks about it, but you know, it is what it is. So, anyways, this is the Zebra 350, which honestly, like when I was thinking of all my like animal related type shoes and whatnot, this was probably the last one that came to mind. I don't know how, but it's just not one that I had thought of. And I kind of feel like if I was to ask like random people, hey, think of an animal inspired shoe or something, I feel like it probably would be like the fourth or fifth thing that people thought of. You know, I just feel like there'd be all kinds of other stuff. Like, remember those really ugly, like, was it an Air Max or maybe it was a Jordan 3 or something? I don't know. There was some elephant or some animal print something that was like everybody was buying them up like a few years ago, and they just looked so terrible. And I remember seeing a pair in store, and I was just like, people really like this like that? Crazy. So, okay, let's see here. Actually, those two, I can do those last. They still go with this. Remember when Nike used to put these things in the boxes? You know, those little order receipts and whatnot? They don't do that anymore. Now they just give you the shoe. Do you find that Adidas sizes matches up with Nike? I mean, it kind of depends on the shoe, I guess. I mean, sure. So this right here, what is this? This is the CP312, right? So there you go. It's the CP312. This is a green shoe because this week was green shoes, right? And my sister was graduating that day, so it made sense to pull these out because, you know, it's like you can't really see that in there, or maybe you can. Class of 2003 is made for some kind of graduation or something. Either way, it fit the day, so I went with it. Actually, there's something missing here. Where is? Oh, no, there it is. Also, and we'll get to it in a minute at the end or something, because that was Sunday. And I actually went through 2 pairs of shoes on Sunday, but we'll come back to that. These are largely in order of like the how I wore them for that week, which is, you know, because I had some free time earlier and I was organizing things. This is the Niger Presto, right? Kind of says that on the back in case you're, you know, forgetful or whatever. So they're made for some kind of Nigerian soccer team or something, which is the the first of 2 soccer related Prestos that I'll be talking about today. So yeah, I remember these coming out and they moved fairly quickly, which was surprising because I didn't think anybody would really care for them like that. Because when I look at something like this, even though I'm a big fan of green, which is why there's so many green shoes over here, I still look at it and think like, I don't think this would appeal to a lot of just like casual people. You know what I'm saying? But sure enough, it did. But later on, it was Sneaker Politics, I believe. I think this was my first order from them ever. Actually, you know what? I received a pair of green shoes from Sneaker Politics today. Maybe you saw those Always Ready Gel Light 3s. There will be no video on those, I don't think, though, because they're not for me. They're for my dad. So normally I would just, you know, open them up, do the whole thing. But I'm going to save that experience for Father's Day when I see him, and he'll open them up, and that's when I'll get to see him, you know? So, moving on. Another, well, technically, like naming wise, this is yellow, like semi frozen yellow, right? But it looks green to me. So there's that. But either way, this right here, this is easily, to me at least, the best 350, right? It's the only one that I went mildly out of my way for to get 2 pairs of. So I keep a pair here and I keep a pair at my mom's house. That's how things work when I buy more than one, right? Because keeping them both here makes 0 sense. Either way, the semi-frozen yellow 350, right? Once again, one of those few gum bottom shoes that I happen to have in the collection. So there's that. And we are, about the halfway point? Well, a little more than halfway, looking at the floor here. Okay, yeah, I was talking about these earlier, right? Remember I was saying something about the 40 forward and 4D shoes or whatever? This particular one, you can kind of see down there. It's got like a sort of a different sort of style to the way they did the actual 4D stuff, right? So compared to like the last one. But either way, these things are so freaking comfortable, right? Like the other ones were kind of stiff in here for obvious reasons, you know. So they're little softer in some ways, right? So that's cool. They're technically running shoes, but I ran in them and I did not enjoy it. Partly because the sizing's a little weird. They do fit pretty big, you know, so you might want to bring that down by a half or so. But otherwise, I still feel like I wouldn't really care for it running in these. But casual wear, just walking and all that, and going through my normal day, yeah, very cool, very cool. And I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, it's not going to show because it's not like a flash. But they have a very cool 3M effect on the stripes there too, so that's awesome. But it's one of those things where, unfortunately, Adidas didn't make a whole lot of these, right? As far as a wide selection of colors. I really, really like this one. It's just that if they made something else that I like, I would likely have too. So, whatever. Sometimes it's better that these companies only make one thing that I like because, you know, then it, for one, leaves room for me to get something else or just makes things cheaper overall for me. Let's see. Oh, Thursday of that week, you know, Throwback Thursday, some people say. Remember the original Aniki runner before they changed to like the 5923? Because of, I forget what the, I explained the whole reason for the name change in a video that I made around that time. I just can't remember the details. I think it was like the purple 5923 video or something. But either way, they had to change the name for some odd reason. And the shoe was largely the same for a while still. Like, you know, a lot of the earlier 5923s were basically this with a different piece right there. But then they started getting all weird with the materials and stuff, and it just wasn't what it used to be. So this was definitely like the glory days of that particular model. Very nice, very nice. I thought they felt a little big at first, and I did try going down half size on my gold pair. I would not recommend it. It's just a shoe, much like the NMD, much like the night jogger, just feels a little big, you know. But I guess wear thicker socks or something because you're not gonna want to deviate from your normal sizing. Whatever size foot you have, you know, just stick with that. And if you don't know, measure it, you know, or get it measured at one of those stores that have a little metal contraption. This also came out. This is one of those was a woven Presto, right? This was also a short-lived thing. So as you can see in there, right, kind of just typical stuff for the most part, but it's weaved in and out of there. So very cool. You know, it's not something that you see a whole lot of. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody wearing a pair of these really. So there's that for you. But what year was this? Where's that tag thing here? These were made in June of 2016. So yeah, I remember seeing a silver pair and a like a dark blue navy, like navy dark navy blue pair. And I think it was only those three that they made, which was kind of crazy because you know it seemed like a good shoe. You know, it seemed like something people would be into. Let's see, we got a couple more green shoes over here. So, like I was saying on that Sunday, right when I wore those 12s, there was a storm coming through, so I had to switch over to these. I brought two pairs with me because I knew that was going to happen. This is the Air Max 97 Winter Utility, right? So maybe you can kind of tell that it's not like the standard stuff, right? Kind of extra rugged and whatnot on there. So very nice. You know, if it's going to be cold or rainy or snowy or whatever, it's definitely something good to go with. I usually keep a few pairs of these around. Not just this model. I do have this in two colors, but utility slash winterized shoes in general is something that I like to keep around because, you know, I go back to Iowa every so often and them and that whole snow thing, they're all about it. I'm not a big fan, but yeah, so that's why I don't live there anymore. But stuff like this is usually something I'll pack on my like winter time trips. So super handy to have, you know? And since I live in Virginia, it also rains a lot, so I like to have like rain-proof shoes around. So there's that piece too. Hey, Chilltown, what's going on, man? I know there's no easy way to do it, but definitely check him out. He's got a lot of stuff going on over on his channel. There used to be this option where you like click on somebody's name and then click on, view channel or something. For whatever reason, YouTube did away with that. This is continuing to trend. Got one more. So for that week, green things, right? I brought these back because I hadn't worn these in months because, the previous month was all new shoes. The month before that was Air Maxes. So it'd probably been since February that I'd had these on until like last weekend. But this, like I was saying, the original Ultra Boost Uncaged, definitely, like, in my opinion, probably the best thing Adidas has made, right? Yeah, see, there you go. There's a link. Appreciate you. But let's go ahead and, where's the pin option here? Pin. Okay, good. So now you can get to that easily, and you should get to that. Even if it means leaving this channel right now, I'm all for it because it's worth it. This live will be around later, You can come back to it, or you can just go watch his stuff. A lot of stuff out there on the YouTube, and not all of it is worthwhile, but if I say it's worthwhile, trust me, it is. Now, finishing things off that week was this right here, which is crazy because remember those Always Ready Gel Lite 3s I was talking about, right? So that kind of made me want to pull out a pair of Gel Lite 3s. These are actually a fairly similar color, but I ended up getting those later for my dad, like I was saying. But these right here was what I closed out the week with. I almost went with the Misty Pine Gel Lite 3s, but those kind of look like a blue, not so much of a green. But this one right here is really nice. It's like a subtle sort of fall color, but it works pretty well. And given that it's a Gel Lite 3, didn't break the bank to get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like like $70 later. There you go. All right, got a couple more. Well, actually, got 4 more here. So let's go ahead and get these on over, and then I can make this NXT thing because I think that starts at 7:30. So what was this one? Oh, shoes that were like made for something, Like, so these, for example, were made. Why is this? These were made for the All-Star game. I don't know if you can really tell that. It says All-Star. You can kind of see it. These Foamposite ones, it's one of the All-Star things. And this was a sort of a tricky sort of release because, like, they came out and I saw them on some places, but just as quickly as they appeared, they were gone. And then, like a few weeks, maybe a month later, I was watching Finish Line like a hawk, right? They came back on there. I bought them immediately. Thankfully, I had like some Finish Line dollars, so I was able to save a little bit, maybe like 20, because Foamposites are not cheap, right? And so I got them, and I was cool with it because I really like Foamposites, and I thought these were kind of cool. I thought they were going to glow in the dark. They don't, so that kind of sucked. But it's still a cool design, though. I like that little, I don't know, that stuff that they have going on there. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's just a cool look, That's all around. If they had is glue, no, that's not the right word. If they glowed in the dark, yeah, that would be like a whole nother level. But as it is, no complaints, not a single one. So that's pretty nice, right? It's one of those times where well, being persistent kind of pays off, or just having patience pays off. And for me, like when I miss out on things all the time. Don't get me wrong, I just don't really think about it because I figure as many things as I do get, like for me to complain about missing out on something would be ridiculous, You wouldn't believe how many people are out there that want stuff and just like, oh man, I wish I could get those, but then insert any of a million reasons. So since I don't generally have that, it's, again, I try to be thankful for the little things, Moving along, these were made for some kind of Korean baseball team. It doesn't say that on there, but it was. I don't know. Apparently, like, baseball is big in Korea, or at least maybe it's just because they have a good team. I don't know, but it's also Korea. Like, it's a pretty small place. There's not a whole lot going on over there besides like Samsung, I guess. So you got to have what you can have, right? And one of the things that they have is baseball. And now their baseball team has these fancy looking Prestos. which I actually had to call in a favor for from one of my Korea friends. So that's why like the tag that I got is all in Korean, you know? So there is that. Because over there, like these were just another thing. Nobody cared about them. Over here, it was like something new, something different, something exciting. There, no, it's not. It's just, it'd be like if somebody made a 4th of July shoe. It's like, okay, well, yeah, all right, whatever. So let's keep things going. Up next, we have, maybe you recognize this box, right? This is the Nice Kicks Woodstock Ultra Boost, right? The other one has the Nice Kicks logo at the top, in case you were curious. I like these. They're kind of cool because like the insoles, and you can kind of see in there, like together they make the full like guitar hand thing, you know. So that's pretty nice. But either way, this was actually, was it? I think this was my first ever collaboration shoe. If not, it was the Ultra Boost All Terrain with Neighborhood, right? Which I bought those Neighborhood Ultra Boost because I thought it was Neighborhood the band. And then I looked at it and like, and I noticed that it wasn't spelled the same. I was like, oh man, this is not what I'm gonna expect. I'd already made the order, you know what I'm saying? But either way, these right here, these are really nice. The one thing that I'm not a huge fan of is like when it comes to like the shoes like this and the no vacancies and whatnot. You see how like there's like the white part within the shoe, right? So like if you're moving your feet around, like it's not completely a colored upper. It's just almost like it's painted on top. So that I'm not a huge fan of. But you know, it doesn't stop me from buying them because, like I said, I have these and I have the no vacancies and then the black and white version of the no vacancies. So it's not going to stop me. It's just one of those things that I don't like. But I like colorful things, and there we go. There was also a black soul version, you know, but I ended up missing out on those, as did mostly everybody, because, well, they just moved a lot faster. Those actually like restocked. Well, I don't think they restocked, but they had multiple sales of them for sure. So those were like easy to come by. Finishing things off, these right here, these were made for me, part of a giveaway that I did early on in my little YouTube endeavor. So I think that was late 2019, like Octoberish 2019, if I recall correctly. Had people design shoes for me, and whichever pair I liked the most, or maybe there was a vote. I think there was a vote too. Yeah, because I picked the ones that I liked the most. There was like 3 of them or something, and then I just let people vote to see which one they liked, and then I think that's the one that I got. I don't know. Either way, this is what I ended up with. This is a Nike React Presto designed by a guy named David from the Netherlands. And so thank you again to him for his design because it's really cool. And I actually get a fair amount of compliments on these, right? And was this was also my first Nike ID. Not my only one, but definitely the first one. I have a pair of Air Max 1s that BX designed for me and something else, right? Maybe I don't. Maybe there's only those two. No, I have those Air Max 97s that I bought for Air Max month because I needed a certain number of new shoes for Air Max month. And they happen to have Nike by You 97s, so that's what I did. Okay, cool. And that is everything, right? So that's pretty all right. There was another pair of shoes I was going to talk about, but I've kind of boxed myself into a corner with all those boxes that I was going through. Pun intended. So now I'm not going to show those, but there'll be a video later and you'll see it. Oh, yeah, those are the shoes he was talking about. But, anyways, so that's going to be that, right? So before I go, well, I'm going to start closing this thing up, moving on with my evening and whatnot. But if there's anybody that happens to have like questions or whatever, you want to throw out there, this is the time to do it. Because otherwise, if you catch me in the comments, you're going to get like the most abbreviated version of an answer that you've ever seen for the most part, unless you're like the first person that I reply to, like in a string of comments, because I'll put things off for days and then I'll respond. The first one might be like a sentence or two that by the time I get to the end, it's like, cool. And that's it. So you leave your questions now while I can actually speak on them, and that's when you get your best answers. But either way, from me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I do have actual content, like actual reviews that will be coming around sooner or later. I recorded one today, and I'll be recording one or two tomorrow, and then probably releasing those through the week. So, I'm in no hurry to get this stuff out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's all old, so it doesn't really matter. I'm not looking for the views. I'm just trying to get it out there so it'll be out there. And from what I've seen, and this is just a little thing to pass on to some of the people that might be curious. If you're doing this whole YouTube thing, right? Yeah, some of your new videos will like get a bunch of views up front or whatever. But a lot of stuff, depending on what you're buying or whatever, if it has like some staying power, the views will come over time. Like they'll just kind of build and build and build. So a lot of the stuff when I look at my normal trends of what people are watching, it's things from at least like 3 months ago, because at this point those things are cheaper now, and so now people are looking up the reviews on them so that they can get them because the hype is kind of faded or shifted away to something else. So just a little something to think about if you're a YouTube person. Don't focus so much on like make sure everything's out there the weekend that it comes out, because for one, you'll likely be overshadowed, and two, it's just needless hassle. So there's that. And there are no questions, so that's cool. That means I can go ahead and leave. So thanks again to the people that came in and stopped here, said whatever you said. Definitely appreciate it. Don't forget to check out Old Chilltown. He's got some good stuff going on over there. I don't know what he has going on today, but you can find out for yourself, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. For now, later, people.